children. And recently, he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. But not only that, but he has had a very challenging situation leading up to his recent diagnosis with cancer that he is still battling with. And I'm going to let him tell the full story because I think it's only right, ladies and gentlemen, that we bring the gentleman on to tell his full story and to help bring awareness and try to offer him some help and just not even offer help, but just take the time to really listen to his story and get some important information from it. Because, of course, this is not just only a show where we talk about the issues facing in our community and our world and how all of these things tie into mental illness and mental health. But we also want to provide a platform to give people information and resources and encouragement for those that are dealing with some form of adversity, including illnesses, diseases like cancer. So let's go ahead and bring on our guest for the evening. His name is Zachary Hardy, and it is an honor to have him on Therapy and No Joke. Good evening, Zachary. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Amen.
you.
Amen. How you doing today, Mr. Garvey?
Hey, I am doing great. I'm happy to be here with you.
Amen.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. You know, and I appreciate the words that you said today. Um, I'm doing very well. Better than I'll just say God has blessed me. I feel as right now. I feel as strong as I did, at least 15 years ago, and I'm thankful. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thankful is a very important word. Being thankful for what you have, being thankful for breathing, for living to see another day, to be thankful to be around your loved ones, family, friends, colleagues, and just being thankful to pay it forward to
Yes.
people in the process, or even in times of adversity. I gave our viewers and our listeners tuning in right now in real time the Cliff Note version
Hmm.
of you and what you have recently found out. But I'm going to let you talk to our viewers and share your story as it pertains to your recent diagnosis.
Okay. Well. Yeah. I'll back it up a little bit. Okay.
Sure.
All right. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with what is it? Colon cancer. And so it was 3 years ago. I was working at my job, and I'm a microbiologist. I was a microbiologist for Tyson Foods, and I happened to go into the facilities, and uh, I had uh, I had a bowel movement, and I had stool all over. Blood came out of my stool, and so I immediately called my doctor when I was at work. He made an immediate appointment for me to go to go to get a scan. From that point, we found out that I had colon cancer. Uh, we did some other investigation with the gastroenterologist and some other things, and we decided then to have surgery, and I removed over a foot of my colon and 22 lymph nodes. The doctors told me then that there was no need for any chemo, and and matter of fact, the 5th of October was my 3-year anniversary from that surgery.
Yeah.
Uh, Fast forward to now. This past June, matter of fact, I'm at a new job. I'm a lab tech for a DNA company, and I was at work, but I was feeling heart palpitations. I was like, man, there's something wrong, you know. And it just happened to be the eve of me and my wife's wedding anniversary, and so with the events that happened earlier the end of last year, I was like, well, I better go to the hospital and get checked. And so I went to the hospital, and they did all their tests, and they discovered that I had there was something in my liver, uh, and there was also something around my pituitary gland. So I have an adenoma around my pituitary gland. After further testing, they found I had an adenoma around my pituitary gland. They also found that I have stage 4 liver cancer. Um, we the next following weeks and months, or a month, week and a half, and another week and a month, whatever, uh, where all the testing and things of that nature, uh, they discovered I had some arteriosclerosis. There was I have a high PSA number, and then they also said that they told me I had a golf ball size mass in my liver, and they ruled out the adenoma. They said it was still an adenoma, but since it wasn't growing, they wasn't worried about it. And that's where we at right now. Um, I went to the surgeon because it went pretty quick, because the type of cancer I have is a they say it's a fast moving cancer. It can lay dormant for years, and all of a sudden it can take off and grow exponentially fast. You know, so from there, what I decided to do was I had a big decision. They wanted to start me off at chemo. They wanted to go for chemo for 2 months, and from after the chemo, they just made the decision. They said, well, if we do chemo, because they wanted to put a port in and start chemo right away, and I chose not to do that, because the surgeon, I really feel thankful that the surgeon, he just told me up front. He says, I can only give you 50 to 60% with the surgery, and your biggest thing is that you can come out of surgery, even though you're going to go right back to chemo, you could have liver failure. Um, he tried to assure me that the liver will grow back, but those who, if anybody's ever been in school, they know good and well 50 to 60% ain't passing. So I was like, I didn't want to do that. So we called my wife. She wasn't there at the appointment with me, so we called her at her job, and she talked to the doctor. I had on speakerphone, and then we left out of there. I left out of there, and I was like, my wife asked me. She said, "What you plan on doing?" And that was and I came up with I feel like I came up with at least a better personal decision, um, to try something totally different. So you know, um, I feel for those, and I know a lot of people do chemo, and a lot of people do surgery, uh, but you know, I don't think my goal and mission wasn't to do anything I thought was extra special, but I just wanted to try to do a holistic, or more of a homeopathic way to cure this cancer. And along my journey, I found some different things that I feel like has really helped me.
Mm. Wow. What a journey so far, just by you saying that, to have two different types of cancer in different periods of your life. You started having colon cancer. You went through the procedure with the medical doctors,
Yes.
and after that procedure was done, things went back to normal to you.
Uh,
You felt at that time like, yes, I beat this thing. I can live a longer life.
yes.
Like, did you after that first battle? Were there any type of skepticism, or were you very, um, you know, yeah, let's just say skeptic? Were you very skeptic about what could happen after that? Oh,
No, at the time, no, I wasn't. You know, I was going back and forth to the doctor still. My oncologist, and they were doing my blood checks and my numbers. It's a CEA, and that's I forgot what is it. It's cancer. Cancerous embryonic antigen, and so my CEA was still kind of relatively still high, and so they kept pushing it off on like, oh, maybe you need to drink more water and things of that nature, things that I personally agreed with because I wasn't, you know, I wasn't I didn't drink a lot of water. That's the truth, and I felt like I wasn't always very good with my health, even though I had a gym membership and things of that nature. Um, I just wasn't well. I didn't know about the other things, but they said that this cancer that's in my liver now has metastasized from my colon. That was one of the things they said, and even I guess with the DNA test they did, that's how they determine it's similar because it came off. But none of those lymph nodes during that time when they pulled those 22 lymph nodes out, when they tested them, all of them came back negative of passing the cancer into my liver.
mm, mm. And it's interesting you said that, especially the information that is different today than it was now. I remember years ago, especially as a kid, as a teen, you didn't hear too much about people transitioning or battling with cancer. You heard from a few people from different things about this particular disease, but we've also heard that it was more hereditary, that you could get it through some form of DNA. It could be passed down from another generation or from your grandfather, from your grandmother, maybe skip one or two, and then all of a sudden you inherited the disease. But nowadays, from like I said, the information that we're gathering from different sources and from different entities, it doesn't have to be a hereditary thing. It could just be, things that you put in your body, to the things or to the chemicals that people breathe from out of the sky into their bodies and stuff like that. Um, you want to add to that?
Yeah, it is. It's known now that it's funny. What is I forgot his name, but you are what you eat. That's true.
You are what you.
And uh, and truth be told, I outside of not I didn't eat pork. I don't eat scavenger food or anything like that. But like you say, you are what you eat. But I work in the beef plant, so I ate copious amounts of beef and things of that nature. Not to say that beef is just the problem. However, it's been proven now. Science has proven that a high fat diet, meat diet, also can cause cancer. I know personally I feel like that was for me. Uh, and environment, yes, but there's also the things that we think. Your mind is very intimately involved into the things that the things that your body feels. And I know for me, I had a tons amount of stress when I was when it was certain jobs I had, and then certain personal insecurities that cause these things to I personally feel develop in me. And and that's what makes the the things that the way for the cure that I've chosen. I feel like that's what I feel that God has blessed me with, to find these things out, and to maybe also now to share with your audience that that we need to fix the things up here if we want the things to change totally in our bodies also.
Right. It starts in the mindset.
Yes.
Yeah. Therapy ain't no joke. Sean Garvey with my special guest, Zachary Hardy, who recently just been diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. And let's stay on that. And I'm glad that you brought that up, Zachary, because this is a show which we talk about all things mental health. And you just got through a few seconds ago mentioning about taking care of the mental.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer that everything starts from the mindset. Everything starts from the mind, the state of mind.
Yes.
Uh, let's talk about what you mentally went through. Uh, Going back to the first part
Okay.
in your journey, the colon cancer. What things were going through your mind at the time? I mean, I can definitely imagine you had a lot of different mental blocks and things going through your mind that, for the most part, was very negative and with a little bit of hope, with a little bit of being optimistic about the future. What was running through your mind at the time, from a mental standpoint?
Oh my goodness. It's the first time I had cancer, I had a lot of stress at my then job. Uh, was it was just a lot of stress there, but then it was personal stress. Uh, son going to college, daughter in high school, my oldest daughter. Matter of fact, she was in pharmacy school at the time. There were just a lot of things I was dealing with and battling at the time. Uh, um, and then it was, like I said, it was some personal insecurities. We moved to Iowa with the idea of me becoming a chiropractor. And things didn't go very well there. It just didn't go well. I didn't make it through. And when you're getting older and you're not where you desire to be, and
Yeah,
and you but you try to, you put on a happy face, and then if you feel that you're not it's not being uh placed back to you the way you've been giving it out. It makes you feel a certain way also. And so all those things just culminated, and then you add a poor diet, and you know and dare I say, self-hatred in certain ways. You develop certain things that you didn't even know you was asking for.
care to expound on that self hatred?
Oh man. The type of self-hatred that you feel that you feel. I feel like I've always felt like I was different, born to win, supposed to win, going to win. And when when life has a speed bump in there, a couple of them, and you weren't expecting them, and they knock you off, and then you find yourself, you're not you you believe in the Lord, you call His name, but there's something missing still. There's still a God shaped hole in your heart. For me, and that you wasn't really holding on as tight as you think you were, and that's what it felt like for me. and that's what I was going through. I went through that, you know, went through that. I went through that just most of my college years, just trying to prove myself to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think we all, or at least most of us, go into any part of our lives as a superhero.
Yes,
We look up to the cartoon superheroes and or the superheroes that we used to see on TV and the movies, and imagining that nothing could not kill us. You know, not a bullet, nothing, no type of illness, that I'm going to live as long as the Most High wants me to live. I'm
yes,
going to live forever. We have that winning spirit of going through day by day and not thinking of the inevitable, not thinking about, okay, tomorrow I might get a report, or I might get a diagnosis or a report or something saying that I am dealing with this from a physical level.
yeah,
And then when the inevitable happens, all different things just run through your mind to where you feel like what you just said, a form of self hate, just hating yourself for getting this, and blaming yourself for all the things that went wrong or what you did wrong.
mhm,
But we want to make sure that we let people know that are dealing with whatever illness they're dealing with, even if it's cancer, even if it's not cancer, because there's other diseases out there besides cancer, whether it's sickle cell,
yes.
even other different forms of cancer or anything of that nature, that you shouldn't blame yourself. You shouldn't feel like you did everything wrong to cause you to be in the state that you are in. We're human.
True.
We human. We're not gonna always do everything right in life. You know what I mean? Like if we did everything right in life, then life would be different than what it is now. Um, but we're human at the end of the day, and I think some people that criticize or judge us for the disease that we're currently battling with, they never been in our shoes. They never been in our shoes. They don't know how to deal with these type of situations and stuff because they never dealt with the inevitable, or they never dealt with the type of inevitable that you have faced. Do you feel like at times that you have been judged by people who may have found out about your disease?
No, I don't. I don't. I haven't felt judged. I haven't felt judged by them. But there might be some other factors that reason why I don't feel judged. Because I really feel like a lot of people have bowled themselves over to me. They've been really very, very kind. Not even some not even knowing that of my current prognosis. But mm, um, and partly it was because most of the people I've been around, they know the other half of the things I've been going through, other things that have been just weighed on my wife and I, and the rest of our family, uh, and basically, um, I think that we've been, my wife and I have been shown a great amount of love. Matter of fact, because of our circumstances and because of the things that we've gone through so far.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to donate to the platform, Cash App, $Reach One Communications to support the content, or go to reachoncommunications.com and click on Donate Now. Zachary Hardy still hanging out with us right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke with the host, Sean Garvey. Um, what was what was the reaction that you was getting from people when they first found out about you dealing with colon cancer before your other diagnosis? What kind of energy or the reaction that you were getting from people when they found out about it?
Well, when I was diagnosed with colon cancer, um, you know, it's if what's funny was is that when I first was diagnosed, before I was diagnosed, let me back up. Before I was diagnosed, I'm having the colonoscopy and things of that nature, and the doctor was a little Indian fellow, real nice dude, but uh, he kind of the way he treated me when he first met me was kind of cold, kind of like put off, like I don't know what he thought, but he was acting strange to me. And then after he did the colonoscopy, and you in that other room knocked out, and he came in and I heard him talking to my wife, and as he rubbed my feet to wake me up, and he was letting me, telling her, yeah, he has cancer, and it was in the lower part of my sigmoid colon, and he said it was is, and these pictures of it looked like it was a huge donut with a little bitty hole, and he said he had to push through that hole. So then he says that the next couple of days I was bleeding from that hole that he had to push through there to check the rest of my colon. But um, I can say he was the only one that really acted kind of strange to me at first. But before that, I think that everything else was just the way it was. Um, I didn't feel any type of I didn't feel any type of backlash or anything that was at least wholesome.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. But
But you said compare from that time to now.
to now, yeah.
Well, you know, uh, for me, a lot that people they when they see me out, they um, since my wife has been like she told people that at her church, and everybody was like, man, how's your husband doing, and all these things, and because just when they first got diagnosed, just 6 months earlier, our son got killed by a drunk driver,
Mhm.
and his his murder was what bothered is what I think people really felt from me and my wife, my wife Mona.
Yeah.
He felt for us, and because it's like, man, just 6 months ago you just lost your son. Now you're diagnosed with your husband's diagnosed with cancer, and it's stage 4. It's like, oh, he's going. When you hear stage 4, you automatically think that person is about to succeed, is about to die.
Hmm.
But only God can heal, and so I'm holding on to that and believing that 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 if I'm the one of the ones that He allows to be spared, let it be.
Mm.
But I still have to do my part. So
Talk about a double entendre. Um, you losing, well, not just you and your wife, your family,
yes,
losing your son, and then you going through this battle right now, from colon cancer to liver cancer. And I know it must take a toll on everyone's mental health,
yes.
not just only you, but your wife. Speaking of your wife, what are some of the things that she has gone through and or currently going through in this stage of your life as you battling with this form of cancer? Let's talk about your wife's mental health journey
Yes.
for a moment.
Uh, Now we talk about my wife's journey. It's been a struggle for her. Uh, a lot of tearful moments. It's so much so. Um, and I'm glad you asked. My wife Mona has been a very strong individual, uh, very much so. That it's that's the I think that's the only reason why I ran to the doctor, uh, to not knowing I was going to have liver cancer, but I only went because we lost our son. I didn't want something to happen to me on our anniversary. Uh, you know, we lost our son the day before Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and so um, you know that you have all the Christmas, and our son was his name was Caleb. Matter of fact, I got a sweater here that my sister-in-law made for us. I'm not sure if you can see this.
Yeah, if you can hold it up to the screen there.
There we go.
Okay.
Well,
That is Zachary's son, by the way, for those who are watching or just tuning in.
yeah,
That's your son.
that's my son, and that was the day that was one of the days. That was one of the days he came over to visit with us. He was a postal worker, and he was going to school and everything else, and so uh, and matter of fact, he was posthumously graduated from the school he was going to. Um, he was doing cybersecurity, uh, and he would hopes to getting a job and to be a cyber nomad, to go around and do cybersecurity for all these different places. Um, so uh, Mona Mona has been fantastic, uh, but I'd be lying to say there's not a lot of crying, a lot of tears. She lost her son, and then you come right back, and now you find out your husband is is ill, and then uh, he's ill to the point to where and he's not doing what his oncologist wants him to do. He's doing something totally different, and and my wife works as an MSA for the VA, and so she basically registers patients in every day, and that has all sorts of sicknesses and diseases, and she sees that other people are fighting like crazy to stay alive, and from the outside, a person will look and say, I don't see your husband fighting like everyone else. Why isn't he taking chemo? Why isn't he having a surgery? Why isn't he having a surgery like he did the first time? Um, my uh, my sister-in-law Terry said, that's you're not showing any faith, and I was like, no, I'm showing faith, but I just believe that there's a different way,
Right.
and I do believe that way for me, because my mother-in law, she's experienced uh, uh, three battles of cancer, lymphoma and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. She battled three times, and done chemo and did all these other things. Uh, but and as much as I love my family and love my wife's family, you have to know what's best for you. Uh,
Yeah.
and for me, I just couldn't go that route.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta big up and thank your wife for hanging in there with you and the family. Because I can just imagine how something like this could make a major impact in a lot of families. I've heard stories before in the past of how a illness like cancer or anything that is disability related or illness related put such a strain in someone's marriage, in someone's household. We're talking about situations from infidelity, affairs, extramarital affairs, to even divorce.
Yes.
I've heard those stories. And for you, especially being in a 25th year marriage with your wife, because in marriage and married couples, they go through a lot of stuff all the time. But for this particular moment, in both of you all's mental health journey, this could have been the one that would have been the icing on the cake to make a decision that both parties probably did not want,
Yes.
you know. But for you all to live by those vows and live by the word of staying together and getting through the storm and doing whatever it takes to keep the household intact as you battling with this, I mean, it shows a lot of both of you all character. It expresses a lot of how you are as human beings.
Oh, thank you for those kind words.
Yeah,
And I know that you know when our son died, and outside of going to the hospital, we sat on the couch together, and we just cried.
yeah,
Yeah, we just cried. We just held each other and cried. Um, and we stayed like that all the way up until her family started showing up, which was pretty immediate. You know, they live in Arkansas and live in Virginia and Arizona and all these places, and uh, they came from everywhere.
yeah,
And then our you know our separate church families came in and comforted us for until they got there. Uh, and uh, it was one of my wife's friends. She, well, two of them, matter of fact.
yeah,
They they just sat there and quiet, or they went around and cleaned up the kitchen and uh, just did stuff like that, and just uh, that if anything, that's I guess that's the reason why I don't feel the stress of of this battle, because I feel like everyone else has been battling with me. I feel that I've been prayed for from coast to coast. I've uh, you know and when I tell people, they look at me and say, "Man, yeah, you don't even look like you're sick." And I was like, especially since I came back from the Life Center, and there, and when I was at the Life Center, I met people that were uh, fantastic, uh, encouraging, uh, loving in a way that I can't describe. And I needed to go there because there were certain things that were still missing the right pieces of the puzzle that needs to get fixed in me. You know, uh, I went to Meet Ministries, and it's they do whole homeopathic Bible evangelism. They do that type of stuff. But they do a holistic care, and they're led by a brother named Dr. Thomas Jackson. Him and his wife, they both doctors. She's a doctor of nutrition. He's a doctor of what is it? Preventive medicine. And they just, man, it's just, and all the people that were there, the people that they gave me they let a brother that was he was my therapist. I was calling him my attending. He was taking care of me, like, this is what you need to do, brother Zach, and the type of and the prayers every day, and we read this book called The Ministry of Healing, and uh, uh, which is a phenomenal book, written over almost 150 years ago. But
yeah,
uh, it was these things that were like they were laid in front of me, and they just kept uh, one after the other, just kept placing themselves in the gap for me. I felt,
right,
uh, you know, uh, and that thing is like one of the things was, hey, only God can heal. Even if I went and got chemo and I had surgery, it still boils down to only, to me, not to me, but period. Only God can heal.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was it for me. Uh, now let me be truthful. I was questioning this all the way to the day I got there. This was on my mind because I was like, uh, you know, I went to a great HBCU down in Arkansas, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I studied biology. I wanted to be in the medical field, and truth be told, still do in some form or fashion. And and so this goes against everything I've been taught. But some things have to be taught a different way. You have to unlearn some things to learn the new things.
Right.
You about to say something?
No, I'm just sitting here agreeing with you. You're right, and it just goes back to the point that I made earlier a few moments ago about learning so much new information and learning a lot about this particular disease, this illness, this form of cancer than what we did years ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it segues into the next hour of the program, still on the subject of your diagnosis and you facing stage 4 liver cancer. We now have people that are as young as in their early 40s, Zachary, that are transitioning
Yes.
and dying from a rare form of cancer or from a particular cancer, because we know that there's more than one cancer out there. You have all different types of cancers, from the two cancers that you dealt with: colon cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, and of course breast cancer, in which we addressed earlier that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And a lot of these different cancers do hit home to me, not as a person who has been diagnosed with any of those cancers, but the people that I know personally in the professional world and outside of the professional world that have either battled or succumbed to their illness, to
Yes.
that particular form of cancer. So let's do this because we're coming up at the top of the hour. Zachary, I want to take a break for a moment. And in the next half of Therapy Ain't No Joke, we're going to answer the question, why do people suffer in silence
Mm.
when it comes to this disease, cancer? We know people in the past,
Yes.
all the way up to most recently, that have not go public with their diagnosis, not have gone public telling the world or telling their followers and telling people that they have now um, they have now been diagnosed with this form of cancer, and they remain private about it. So we're going to talk about that. Why do people suffer in silence when it comes to knowing what their status is?
Hmm.
And we're going to talk about some more of what you've been dealing with and where we go from here. Okay. So we're at the
Okay.
top of the hour now, ladies and gentlemen. Zachary Party, who is diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer, and he is hanging out with us for the next hour of Therapy Ain't No Joke. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question or comment, you can put it in the comment section. If you're following us on YouTube at Beat Break Radio, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Get our viewership up if you can, and leave a comment or a question or just words of encouragement for our guest, Zachary Hardy, who is here with us talking about his diagnosis with stage 4 cancer. You can also watch the show live on my Instagram page at Sean Garvey ATL, which is at the bottom of the screen there in the ticker. And we are also streaming live on Honey. Make sure you download the Honey app to your Roku TV device. You can live stream the show on any device or go to our website, reach1communications.com. Or if you're mobile, download the app. We're everywhere. Okay, no excuse. We want you to tune in and have a loved one tune in as well. And I'm going to take everything in during this break. And then when we come back with more of my conversation with Zachary Hardy right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke, we will be right back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Scott Strauss. On 9/11, I was a New York City police officer assigned to finding survivors buried under the rubble of the World Trade Center. Those were difficult days, but what kept me going was seeing the way Americans joined together in unity. It didn't matter if you were a Democrat or a Republican or anything else. For 9/11 this year, now a National Day of Service, let's rekindle that spirit of unity by doing good deeds. Visit 911day.org to learn more.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
There's a place to share gossip about the office party fun, and a place to share the story you tell everyone. There's a place to share a laugh about when things went wrong, and a place to share the video of you dancing to your song. There's a place to share spare change, lunch, and your time. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is CHIP. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org. Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is CHIP. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org. Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is CHIP. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
And we are back. Welcome back to Therapy Ain't No Joke. This is the second half of the program. Sean Garvey in the studio with you, and we are very delighted to have you back here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Make sure you follow us on social media at the Mental Space Live on all social media platforms. X, Instagram, and on Facebook. If you're just joining with us tonight, we are talking to our special guest, Zachary Hardy, who is diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer as we speak. And for those that want to know more information about liver cancer and are wondering what is liver cancer, liver cancer is a disease in which cells in the liver grow out of control. The liver is in the upper abdomen near the stomach, intestines, gallbladder, and pancreas. And the liver does many jobs, including strong nutrients, removing waste products and worn out cells from the blood, filtering and processing chemicals in food, alcohol, and medications, including producing bile, a solution that helps digest fats and eliminate waste products. So that's what the liver does. But when cancer is involved, it can definitely mess up your organ there. It can definitely mess up a lot of things with your liver. And we've been talking to Zachary thus far about the causes and the things that tie into his diagnosis with stage 4 liver cancer and what he's been going through. Not just only him, but him and his wife been going through during this rough period, especially after their son was killed. So it's a very challenging time in their life right now, trying to hold everything together. With the loss of their son, and then now this man of God, this gentleman right here, battling with stage 4 liver cancer. And when we hear stage 4, and this is a great opportunity, Zachary, to educate our viewers and our listeners. When we mention stage 4, that means that it's at a point right now where, and a lot of people are just in their minds assuming, Zachary, that this is the level where there's nothing else that anybody or no doctor cannot do. It can't be curable at this moment. What are the myths behind that, or if there's any myths or misconceptions behind that when we hear stage 4?
Well, I'm not sure of all the myths, but I know that mine particularly is it's a stage 4A. That means it's just in my liver. Now, if it was to, and even though it was metastasized from my colon, it's just 4A because it hasn't spread anyplace else. And that was another reason why I chose the avenue of the way I went to try to cure it. Well, I'm saying to cure it. So, but yeah, mine's 4A. If I had 4B, that means it didn't spread all over my system. It's, and that it would, it's cancer's just doing what it does. It's just overgrowing, trying to kill you.
Yeah. And what are the doctors are saying right now? All the way up until now, it is the 23rd of October.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking over the phone prior to tonight's episode. So where are we at right now with your status update? And what have the doctors or any type of medical professions, what have they been saying thus far?
Well, when I first got back, September the 26th. And then I scheduled my doctor's appointment with my primary care physician. He did a blood test, checked my numbers. I had, like I said, I had a lot of fires going on in my body.
Right.
So all my I meant to ask you, did you want me to share that with you? I could have sent that to you also.
Oh, we'll get into that later, by the way, too. We're going to give our viewers and our listeners information on what they can do to help you out, Zachary, if that's what you are alluding to.
No, no, I was just
Or is
talking
this-
about. I was
okay.
just talking about the to get a chance to see where I was at to where I'm at now.
Oh, I got you. I got
No, no,
you. Yeah. But you're more than welcome to share, by the way, too, just so you know. You're more than welcome to share anything you want our viewers and our listeners to know right here on Derek Daniel Show.
okay. Let me see. Uh, I have the test that my primary care physician ran, uh, and I had a lot of red flags, a lot of them. Even man, cholesterol high, low vitamin D, just a gambit of different things across the board that was bad.
Yeah.
And when I went back, uh, so that stayed like that. I went when I was with him, and then he sent me to the medical school that's in Iowa City, which is close to us. It's about an hour away. Plus, I work there. I work in that area. Uh, and so it was easy to go to the doctor, and the oncologist there, they saw numbers that where my CEA was at 12.5. When they pulled my colon, it was at 17. So
Mm.
it was that's how high it was. And good numbers are between 3 and 5. If I was a smoker, 5. If a non-smoker, it's around 3. That's normal. Or to 0 to 3 is normal.
Yeah.
With if I was a smoker, and 0 to 5 if I was a smoker. But since I've never smoked, and you know, that's supposed to be at 3, at least a 3. And my readings were reading at a 12.5. Well,
Right.
when I came back from the facility, it was reading lower. It still wasn't low enough to say I was cured, but it gave me promise. It gave me promise. Plus, all my other numbers that were bad when I left, all of them were good, because I have a there's a there's a cyst in my right kidney. Well, that number was reading at 57. Now it's reading at 73. They were thinking I had to go on dialysis within the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, you don't need that. So uh, that's what's giving me promise to what I'm doing now.
Yeah. It's giving you some light of hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and since it's keeping my spirits up.
Yeah.
Uh, like I said, I believe in God's plan, which is an acronym. So,
Mm.
yeah.
The question I want to raise to our viewers and to our listeners is, why do people suffer in silence
Yes.
when they get the news that nobody don't want? You have cancer, you have this type of cancer, you have that type of cancer, and they don't go public with it. And it could be people in our circle, it could be family members that keep it private, or just even most recently celebrities that keep it private as well. And when you mentioned colon cancer in the first half of Therapy Ain't No Joke, and you suffered to that yourself before battling with this other form of cancer that you currently have right now, which is liver cancer, it made me think of Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
I remember August 2020. We are still in a pandemic, and when you talk about a double entendre,
Yes.
you have the pandemic and you had family loss the same year. And I'm talking about me.
Yes.
Family loss, COVID-19, all in the same year. We'll get to that part. We'll circle back to that part in just a moment. But August 2020, I was doing a live show, the Beat Break Morning show that I do outside of this show. And I remember me and my co-host DJ Rollum we're going live with two herbalists.
Mhm.
So ironic that we're doing a live taping of this podcast the same night that it was reported that Chadwick Boseman, I think, in my personal opinion, one of the most talented actors
Yes.
in our history,
Mhm.
in cinema history, passed away from colon cancer. And he was just only in his early 40s, people.
Yes.
In his early 40s. I thought he was younger than that.
Yeah.
But in his early 40s, when I got that news alert that Chadwick Boseman succumbed to colon cancer, I did not want to do the show anymore. At least not that night. I didn't want to continue taping or doing anything. When I got that news alert, I made the announcement over the air, live, online, and my heart just dropped.
Mhm.
My heart dropped. My heart dropped just like my phone dropped.
Yes.
I stepped away. DJ Roland was very speechless. We were both speechless to where we had to let the herbalist that we had on the show speak for the remaining part of the show because we were just very speechless. And talk about timing, people, because the herbalists that were on the show, they were brought on to talk about remedies on how we can avoid getting COVID, how we can avoid getting coronavirus. So just imagine, Zachary, and everybody watching this live, how the conversation shifted from discussing ways of what we can do to combat COVID-19 and the coronavirus to now cancer.
Yes.
Going back to my question, because we didn't know Chadwick was dealing with this. Why do people like Chadwick keep it private? And then to others, people just tend to, suffer in silence and not being able to reveal to the world that they succumb to this disease or they're dealing with this disease. Why do you think so?
That's I think it's hard to share with things, because take Chadwick Boseman for instance. He's Black Panther. He's a hero beyond heroes. Uh, you know,
From T'Challa to James Brown. I mean,
yeah,
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, man.
Yeah.
He was, that alone may have been difficult to express to people. Plus, when he first got sick, I remember, people didn't know he was sick. People didn't know he was sick, but what they would do is they would saw him out in the streets and they were taking pictures of him. They were making fun of him. They were saying that he was, on crack or something. They were saying a bunch of different things that were disparaging.
Yeah.
And even more so, that may have been something he's like, I understand that, during that time, his family was a very close knit and somewhat religious family. They were,
Right.
they may have felt like to keep it quiet also, with hopes of that it, he'd be healed and it would be reversed. There's a lot of things that contribute to a person's silence, to be ostracized. His career just, it took off in that last 5 years as if it was like a supernova. And I can only imagine, you were like, no, I'm going to beat this, from, like you say, all the movies that he's done, plus all the people that he helped just look at their lives differently.
Right.
Right.
It was just such a blow to so many people. And to fast forward a little bit, a couple of months ago, another famous person that we lost, which we didn't know she was dealing with a rare form of cancer, Erica Ash.
Mm.
You know, comedian, actress, known for her role in Survivor's Remorse, um, from The Real Husbands of Hollywood with Kevin Hart and other
Yes.
projects that she's been in.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching an episode or two of Survivor's Remorse and just seeing how this woman was so talented and so funny. I said to myself, "Oh, she's gonna blow up even more." You know, she's one of those actresses that in Hollywood don't get its just due
Yes.
enough.
Yeah.
You know her from a few episodes, you know her from a few movies and shows,
Mm-hmm.
but she hasn't got enough of her just due. And then when she passed away a few months ago from cancer, we had no idea.
No. And and just to go to, I don't know about everyone else, but I know that what they say about us as a community, as African Americans, as Black folks, what sometimes we don't go get checked.
Mm.
We don't rush in, because once we get that news, you know, uh, the level of depression just weighs on you. I don't I don't know how she felt or how Chadwick Boseman felt, but I know that when I was first diagnosed, that the depression hit me hard. But when I had especially with the colon cancer, and everybody was, my son was living then, and, so I can only imagine, because you automatically think that you did something. Why me, Lord? I know that was when I first got cancer. That was the first thing I said. And then, I've had friends to tell me, I've had church friends tell me, why not you? Because if it's you and you stand for the Lord, God will be glorified. But if you don't, if you complain and do all the things, and this is how certain people feel. If you complain, they feel like, oh, you automatically not believing or don't believe in your healing, or there's a bunch of things that how people feel that slow them down from being from really sharing, because truly these battles that we go through need they need not just your prayers but the prayers of others, especially your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. While we're on the subject of celebrities,
Yes.
of course, and we want to make it not just only Zachary, but just anybody and everybody that's dealing with it, because this is bigger than Zachary.
Yes.
This is bigger than some of us, but this affects a lot of people. We recently got wind in the report that Ananda Lewis, that I grew up watching from the days of BET's Teen Summit to her being a VJ. Is this news to you, or?
Well, you just hit me, man. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't know that.
So Ananda Lewis has shared online and to the public that she has breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And it's now, according to reports here, is now stage 4.
Oh, has it metastasized into the bone?
Yeah. Yeah, it has metastasized. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Lewis 51, and this is according to, I'm looking at my news source there, according to people.com, Lewis at 51 previously shared that she had been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in a 2020 Instagram post. So this is not something new that she shared just recently, but she shared this information in an Instagram post of hitting stage 3 breast cancer in 2020, saying that she had refused mammograms for years due to a fear of radiation exposure. That's another thing too. when it comes to the hesitation or the reservation of people taking up the process of
Yeah.
going through the chemotherapy and going through the phase of trying to get some type of recovery done, to their cancer. And
Yeah.
so why do you think, just from the experiences that you had, like why do you think people don't want to go through the process, don't want to go through chemo? I've heard people say before that I don't want to go through that. Do they feel like it could be even more of a torture thing than what they're dealing with right now? Like for me, I don't understand. Because if it was me, right,
Yes.
I would want to go through the process. Like, okay, doc, let's do what we got to do. If I got to go through chemo and all this other stuff, let's do it.
You
I'm
know,
not from the outside looking in.
yeah, and I understand. I understand that, especially because since I've just gone through this, uh, and I'll be truthful. Like I said earlier, I may have would have done the process if he would have gave me better numbers than 50 to 60%. When he gave me those numbers, I felt like, there's really nothing you really can tell me. That was my personal feeling. Also, it's like this. Uh, Once I got my last, back in, so 3 years ago in 21, when I got I didn't know I had colon cancer because I didn't go to the doctor. It just wasn't something I was doing. It just, only went to the doctor maybe twice that year, and then the second time I go, that's when they found out I had colon cancer. And then, outside of that, I didn't return. Personally, I didn't return back to a medical doctor. Maybe I went to my oncologist maybe like 4 times, and then I didn't return back for another 2.5 years until I found out I got liver cancer. And it was an emergency room attendant that discovered that. So, we, uh, for whatever reason, I think we play Russian roulette most of the times with our health. And don't, more than me just not eating properly, but it was also me not even taking care of I'm supposed to take care of this body temple, and I wasn't doing that. I wasn't going to the doctor. I wasn't exercising properly or exercising, supposed to sweat every day, and I wasn't doing that. And I was making up excuses and reasons and why not to go. There are a lot of reasons that I think not just myself, but some people say, well, if I go to the doctor, I might have to spend this money, or if I do this, I'm gonna spend this money, and we gotta stop treating ourselves so poorly.
Yeah. I'm looking at the symptoms here when it comes to liver cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And those symptoms include discomfort in the upper abdomen on the right side, or a swollen abdomen. It can also include a hard lump on the right side just below the rib cage, and pain near the right shoulder blade or in the back. It also goes on to say easy bruising or bleeding, unusual tiredness, nausea and vomiting, loss of appetite, weight loss for no reason. Those are the symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now when I sent you pictures, that picture of me in that green jumpsuit was standing next to Prince. Have you seen that?
Let me see if I can have my producer get those photos so we can put it up on our screen here and share it with our viewers. We're going to see if we can try to do that before we end the taping tonight, because I think it's only fair and only right, Zachary, that we show our viewers and our listeners the before and after of you, and just look at the transformational phase of what you've been going through over the past couple of months or a year or two. Because when you succumb to this disease, and when you deal with it, it does affect you physically to the point where you become unrecognizable.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes unrecognizable. And so, to your point, as we're getting the photo so we can show it to our viewers, another form of, mental health or mental illness is depression.
Yes.
And even trauma. The list goes on and on and on. And when you get that news that you have this disease, you have this thing called cancer, you feel a state of depression.
Yes, you do.
You feel a state of depression. It just hits you, right? Um, isn't another thing too, another factor of why people don't want to tell people about their disease or don't want to go through the process, like I said before, going through the radiation process, the chemotherapy, is it to prevent them from even becoming more depressed or to prevent them from doing other things that they may not want to do, such as taking their own life.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I know that's very loaded.
yeah, that's loaded, man. I have a friend that just called me today, and he's been battling cancer. I think this is his second time. He has a very rare nasal cancer, and it's he beat it the first time, and now he got it back again. And he called me asking me about my diet now and some other things because he found out that I became a vegan now, and he's still doing chemo and things of that nature, and he's praying, he's praying to the Lord that he get through it this time again. And he's young too. Matter of fact, he's right about 50 years old, and it's the pain. The same chemo that I was going to get, he had,
Right.
and he told me that thing was wearing him out. He wasn't a big man. He's a fairly, he's a small fella, doesn't carry weight much. And he said by the time he got on that, and he was on that for the 12-week process. He said he shrank down to 165 pounds. He was nothing. Say it was nothing but skin and bones. And I think people, see that, and they don't want to go through pain. I know I didn't want to go through that pain. And if there's a way for me to not go through that pain, I was going to try to go that route.
Right.
Especially after what they said how the surgery was going to be for me. And I didn't want that. I didn't want it, and he's going through it now. And
Right.
he's having his own personal struggles. And he hasn't. I know he's told people. I know he's told the church, and he's told some other people. And but it's still it's a lonely walk. And I really feel lifted by the number of people that have stepped in to help me. But you still walk alone.
Yeah.
I have to, to get to my job. It's like I said, it's an hour away. And so I have that drive on my drive to work. I have those feelings.
Yeah.
I think about the cancer. I think about how it affects my wife and how it affects my children. I think about my son's death. It's a number of things that cast through my mind, and it's a lonely walk. But then at the same token, It's lonely because I'm experiencing this I feel like by myself. But at the same token, then I feel like the Lord's with me at the same time. And so that walk doesn't feel as lonely. Especially like, when I left Meet Ministries, one of the things I said is that in my sadness I can still cry, I can still smile. You know, I was feeling like that, where I was feeling I could feel down. I felt this way this morning. I was driving to work, and it's pitch black on the expressway, and I'm driving, and because it was dark outside when my son got killed, and I started to feel down. I was like, no, my God has done too much for me to start to let this weigh on me personally.
Yeah.
And then when I walk into a place, I don't want it to weigh on them. That may be another reason why people don't tell right away why they feel the way they do. It's because especially if you're a type of person that wants to uplift people, you don't want to bring them down with what you're feeling or what you're going through. Now that's personally me, but I'm not sure how it is for anyone else.
Right.
I try to walk around with a smile on my face, and even when I want to cry, that's going to be in private, because I want people to feel. I desire people to feel that as I feel, that as God is with me. That's how I feel. As you know, I was known as the Most High, is what it says in Leviticus, man. Deuteronomy, that's what it says in Deuteronomy. And I believe that. And so, if I believe that, and when I'm walking around, and there's nothing wrong with being sad. There's nothing wrong with being depressed, man. Shoot, David was depressed, and so I can feel that way. But I still got to give God glory, even in my depression. And that brings me happiness. It brings me happiness. It brings me joy. And I pray that it brings other people joy too. Because a sad countenance is not going to heal this cancer. 50 to 60% that the doctor gave me, even if he took it out, doesn't mean that I'm going to be all right. Because the type of surgery he was going to put me through was going to really physically change my body. There's a lot of things that we go through that we feel like we need to. We doing it. We want to do it for others, but you also want to do it for you.
Yeah. Let's take a moment to go to the comments here on Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL, and I want to remind people that we are only simulcasting on 3 platforms, including Honey, which by now you should already have the app on your Roku TV. Download Honey to your Roku TV, and we are also broadcasting live on YouTube at Deep Break Radio. Don't forget to be a subscriber on there, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Deep Break Radio, and Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL, where the R&B Soul Man says in the comment section, remember, we are alone, but we are never lonely.
That's right.
I'm going to repeat that one more time from the R&B Soul Man commenting on tonight's topic. Remember, we are alone, but we are never lonely.
Oh, man.
What does that say to you?
Oh, man. There's an old gospel song that we may walk alone, but we're never lonely. That's exactly what the gospel songs say. The beauty in that is, to me, is that God is always with us. That brings me joy. Matter of fact, we said, what's his name? R&B, what?
The R&B Soul Man himself. Big shout out to Liddell, by the way. That's Liddell Williams. Big shout out to you.
Man, look, that means this. It's just like I said earlier, my wife is walking this journey with me. So I'm not lonely, but I'm feeling this pain by myself. But she's got me, you know, and I feel the same way about how I feel like the Lord's got me.
Yeah.
I feel like that brother, the R&B soul man. Look, I feel like in a way he got me. He understands what I'm saying. He got me. And I feel like the same person that's over in California or around the world, wherever this stream is going, and they feeling what I'm saying, or they feeling me of how I'm feeling. I feel like they got me. They're getting it. They're understanding what I'm getting.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Well, and by the way, too, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been flashing this on and off on the screen here. Cash App, $ Reach One Communications to support the content, or go to reachoncommunications.com and click on donate now. All the proceeds that are being made here on tonight's Therapy Ain't No Joke will go to the family of Zachary Hardy that we have here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. I want to personally do that on behalf of myself, Therapy Ain't No Joke, and Reach One Communications to help you out the best way I know how. As a person, like I said before, and I said earlier, I've never been diagnosed with any form of cancer, and I knock on wood and pray to the Most High that I don't get affected by that I don't get a report saying that. But it still hits home to me by losing plenty of people that I knew personally that have succumbed and unfortunately transitioned from cancer. Once again, for those who are tuning in, Zachary Hardy, who is battling with stage 4 liver cancer, by the way, and please make a donation. So any donations that are made during tonight's taping of Therapy Ain't No Joke will go to the family of Zachary Hardy, who you are seeing on the screen right now. He needs our support. But I want to circle back to 2020 again.
Yes.
The same year that Chadwick Boseman passed away was the same year I lost 2 people in my life: my grandmother and my friend's signature phrase. Now, for all my day ones out there that have been rocking with me since the Beat Break Morning Show, signature phrase was a close friend of mine, and not only a close friend, a sister, an angel, a consistent co-host to the morning show. She was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011. I want to make sure I get the date right here, but it was somewhere around 2011, 2012. And around that time, especially when we were still taping the Beat Break Morning Show, I started noticing a pattern of her not showing up to the live tapings of the show, because this is when we was on terrestrial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept wondering in the back of my mind, like, what happened to signature phrase? Like, why hasn't she been showing up to any of our tapings? And I remember one morning, and this was a few hours after we went off the air, and it was the next day, and I knew I had to get up in a few hours to go back to work. I get a call from herself, signature phrase, and I'm just like, yo, I haven't heard from you in days and weeks. Like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And then that's when she told me that she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. And I knew at that time that, this was bigger than me. This was bigger than the show and everything. We got to do something. And then years later, she felt fine. She went through the operation. She went through chemo. And she was back to normal, just like with you coming out of one cancer to another. But after that first cancer that you was hit with colon, and you went through the process and everything, you was back to normal. You was cancer free at that time.
Yes.
And we all felt that about Signature, who didn't want us to talk about it publicly and not talk about it on the radio. She only wanted to keep it private and just wanted to let certain ones know that she's dealing with this. But then years later, that was when she revealed to us that she had stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
And I knew I had to be there for her more than ever before. All the way up until January 2020, when she passed
Yes.
from stage 4 cancer. And I did not find out about it until I read about it on social media. And when you talk about that guilt, Zachary, I felt guilty for not doing enough to help her. And I think at times, when we're dealing with people, loved ones, family members, and people that we work with in the business, in the radio industry, or any industry, or even in your industry, when you hear about these things and what people are dealing with, you also feel guilty. You also feel guilty that you haven't done enough for that person. You haven't really been there enough. And you like, I didn't have enough time. I needed more time to be with that person. I didn't get a chance to do all of my goodbyes and my farewells and everything that I wanted to do with this person during their last few moments on earth. How does that make you feel when you only have a few moments and you're still battling with it? So it's not something where, we get off these mics after the end of the show and then that's it. I mean, this is still a battle that you're dealing with. But how does it feel to know that you have a support system? You have people around you and they know when, you need their support. Like, can it be overwhelming at times for you as a person? Because you don't want to come off as a burden to so many people, especially not to your wife and to your family. But how does it make you feel? Is it overwhelming at times?
I haven't felt overwhelmed. I haven't personally felt overwhelmed, especially since, there were certain things I really felt like when I met Dr. Jackson and his wife and the people at Meet Ministries. Like I said, my mind was like a scrambled puzzle, and I feel like they just put things in place for me. And I haven't felt like a burden to my wife. But I haven't, you named all the things that could happen to a person that have liver cancer. I haven't had any of those. Yeah, I do have the pain on my right side, and I think if you see those pictures, you see my stomach was kind of distended.
Which, by the way, we tried to get our producer to upload the pictures, but she couldn't. So unfortunately, we couldn't get those pictures up and running. But hopefully, we'll do something with that on the back end of our show. Just wanted to let everybody know, FYI.
Okay. Amen. My stomach was kind of distended. I was, plus I was overweight and some other things. I really don't know what to say to that. I just feel like I said that God is with me and people are with me, and the loneliness the being alone and being lonely is something I haven't, outside of being alone, I never felt lonely. And so I don't know. It's a lot of things going on in my mind. You asked some very good questions where it has me thinking differently about certain things, or at least give me an opportunity to let my mind wander in that area that it wasn't wandering before. And really, I'm just full of gratitude, to say the least. Um, you know, it's funny. I just went back to work this past week, and you know, I was having problems getting back to work for some strange reason. But when I got there, you know, the people were just so gracious to me, and I've never been in a place where I felt so loved and respected as a person. Uh, yeah, that was heartfelt to me, and I felt good about my situation, uh, and I look different too. You know,
Yeah.
I left there. I was 315. I come back. I'm 266. Uh, you know, but I'm working out every day almost. You know, it's the uh, you know the things that the jaundiced eyes, the other things, the things it does to your gums and things it does to the rested part of your body. You know, I'm not having experienced. I don't have that pain. You know, where it looked like I was going that way when I first found it. It's not that way now.
Yeah.
You know, I keep following. Can I read this acronym? It's called God's Plan.
Sure.
God's plan consists of godly trust, open air, daily exercise, sunshine, proper rest, lots of water, always temperate, and nutrition. And since those 8 laws of health were given to me, uh, I'm trying to live by those and by the word of God. You
Yeah. Yeah.
know, you know, one more thing. My wife keep asking me. She was like, "Well, when you going back to the oncologist?" And I said, "Well, I'm waiting to see my next blood exam and other things to make this decision to go back to the oncologist to get remeasured, to go through the whole workup." But you know, I know that this has become the road that I'm taking, and I wanna keep going in this way
Yeah.
to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Now, for everyone else, man, you still got to go to the doctor. You still got to find out. You still got to know. You know,
Right.
you know, shoot, you know, uh, you talk about in 2020 for you about you and your friend. Well, in 2019, my mother had, you know, my mother was older anyway. She was 88, uh, but she had a large cell mass leukemia, and so uh, you know, and I understand what you're saying. Could you have done more? I was, you know, my mother kept it quiet from me. The only person that knew that she had cancer was my brother, my oldest brother, and he was, you know, and he kept it from everybody until she got sick.
Yeah.
You know, um, I don't, you know, and it was just a special thing that I got a chance to, you know, that was before I got diagnosed with cancer myself. It was a special thing to tell her how much I love her and how much I wanted to take care of her. And I think that your friend knows that you would have done anything to help her, just as my mother knew that I would have her too.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, signature phrase, and I'm just so thankful, by the way, too, of her family, her son Mark, shouts to Mark, and her cousin Pam, shouts to Pamela, who was, of course, was on one of my mental health shows last
Mhm.
year. I'm so thankful because you used the word thankful earlier, and I want to steal that word from you real quick or share it with you, and just say I'm thankful for the people that signature phrase had in her life while she was here in the physical,
Yes.
will be able to come on our platform and to just say nothing but great things about their loved one, about their family member, and still be here to help carry on her legacy. So I'm very thankful and honored to be able to have that type of communication and that conversation with her family members, especially after her transitioning. I always say that they are a part of Beat Break Radio, which of course Therapy Ain't No Joke was founded from. But I'm very thankful to have people like them be here and to pretty much pick up where Signature Phrase left off at. We only got a few minutes left here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Please, people, you see it at the bottom of the screen there. Cash App, $ Reach One Communications to support Zachary Hardy, diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. All proceeds made tonight will go towards the family of Zachary Hardy as they battle with this disease. It's not just only him; it's the family, the entire family. A very bittersweet time in their life right now. So please, people, keep the support coming. What has your life looked like now, waking up each morning and each day? Our regular routines are brushing our teeth and taking a shower and going to work and going to exercise. But by you living with this disease until something is done, what has your day been like on and off from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed?
Oh wow! As you say, you think more than just grateful, because I get a chance, like you say, one more day to see my wife, one more day to call my daughters, just a lot. Talk to my fraternity brothers, talk to other church members. I have that joy every day, but just just to wake up and be happy. One thing that I'll this is this is what's been really pushing me is that since Caleb passed, uh, I just want to wake up and be grateful for the time that God has allowed me to have with him and to have with everyone else around me.
Yeah.
And so that is, you know, uh, that has been peaceful to me, to my, and plus, if anybody ain't figured it out, I believe in one true God and His Son Jesus Christ, and so since I have that faith, uh, my desire is to tell the world, well, however much time I got, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Therapy Ain't No Joke. That's the name of the broadcast. That's the name of the show. Two-part question for you, Zachary. How has therapy rather, how has therapy going for you thus far with your therapist? I heard you mention about your therapist that you have right now and how that is, we want to know how that is working out for you. And the second question to the first question is, why is therapy ain't no joke? Why is it something that we should not steer away from, whether we have this type of disease or not? Why is therapy ain't no joke? But you can answer the first question.
Okay. Well, the one that was doing therapy for me when I was away was a brother named Michael King, and also Dr. Jackson. Those two, and so many others. I felt like Larry Brooks and my home pastor. All of them were working. I feel like working in tandem, even though they didn't know each other. Not all of them. And the one thing I've learned from the therapy that I've received, the mental and spiritual therapy that I received when I was at Meet Ministries was it's going to be okay. You know, you have pains in your life. You know, things that you think that are uh, things that you hold yourself in a hard over. Like I held myself hard over my son dying. You know, the night he called me was, "Hey, you want to go to the movies?" And I was like, "Yeah." The Color Purple was coming out. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you tomorrow. I'm not going out tonight. I just wanted to hang at home."
Yeah.
And so, um, you know, that's turmoil to me at first. You know, it was turmoil to me. You know, because I could have asked him to come over. Could he? Would have lived? You know, that's something that I was dealing with. Um, you know, there's other things that I feel like that I felt like, you know, but then, you know, to go through that with people, you know, and to talk about those things. Oh man, talking about these things and
Yeah.
is a big thing. And journaling has become a very big thing to me.
Right.
You know, to slough off the day's events and to put on a new covering every day. That has been something for me. And could you reiterate your last question again?
Yeah, sure. The second part is why is therapy ain't no joke? That's the name of our show,
Yes.
and we invite all walks of life to be informed. There is going to be a little bit of entertainment here and there, but for the most part, we want people to be well informed and to be encouraged and to be inspired by what we do here. But to you, as somebody that is battling with stage 4 liver cancer, why is therapy ain't no joke?
Therapy ain't no joke because you're gonna deal with something every day, and every day you're gonna be battling something. And you might as well just put your health in God's hands and battle with Him. He's got your back. And knowing that therapy's no joke is because if you protect your mind, you protect every part of your body and everybody around you. The more you protect what's up here, the more you protect your family, the more you protect your friends, and you protect people you don't even know. God speaks to our mind, so therapy sure ain't no joke.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very important episode that we have just done tonight. And once again, I have to do this because as a person who has dealt with so much over the past few years, even this year alone, it's been a year. I mean, this year is almost over. But
Yes.
as a person who advocates for mental health, please, please, everybody, please go see a therapist. Even if you don't want to put out that kind of information or let everybody know your diagnosis or what you've been dealing with or what illnesses you have succumbed to, please go seek therapy. Please go seek a therapist ASAP. I definitely employ people to do that. All right. As you can see at the bottom of our screen here, Cash App, $ Reach Point Communications to support Zachary Hardy, diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. So make sure you hit that donation button right now. You can go to our website, reachpointcommunications.com. Any last remarks or any last words, Mr. Zachary, before we let you go? Of course, we have it at the bottom of our screen here to employ people to make a donation to help your cause. But what would you like for the people to do? Is there anything else that you want people to do or to help support your situation at the moment? Of course, this has been taking a toll on you. Maybe not so much on an economic standpoint, but we're here to help. We want to make sure that we do everything in our best interest to help you during this very bittersweet time. So any last remarks or anything you want the people to know or what they can do to help you out, but help you
Uh,
and your family out?
well, amen. I appreciate that. And a matter of fact, man, you've already blessed me because I sure didn't know. Um, I would like to say, first of all, uh, always surround yourself around good people. Uh, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you blessing me, and God allowing God to use you to bless me. Um, the only thing I can say is this: continue to. I pray that you pray for me as I continue to pray for everyone. That I'll just say this: Lord, bless all those, even the ones I don't know, that are reaching out for me also, and even those that aren't blessing or aren't touching me personally, but just continue to be with them and their families also. And thank you, man. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Zachary Hardy. And I got to give another thank you to a very special friend of mine. I consider her as one of my radio aunties, by the way, to Melissa Summers for helping
Yeah,
me set up this interview with you, Zachary. And I'm just very appreciative of Melissa Summers for putting this interview together and making sure that people like you have a voice and have a platform to come on and share your story and to be with us here this evening on Therapy Ain't No Joke. And after the show, we're going to keep employing people and encouraging people to make a donation or reach out to you for any assistance you may need, for any further support that you need, because that's what we're all about. We're about community and we're about helping the people. So please, everybody, just like what Zachary mentioned, keep him, his wife, his family in your prayers and your thoughts. And we want to have you come back on Therapy Ain't No Joke in a few weeks or in a couple of months, however your schedule allows you to come back on. And we want to get an update from you. We want to get an update no matter what the update is. We want to do a follow up to see how you and your family are doing. And we expect to get some positive results. I know I just said that whatever the case may be or whatever happens, but we definitely are are awaiting to get some further updates on your condition and hoping for the best in this particular case. So we want to get some positive results when we bring you back on therapy. Ain't no joke. And yeah, we want to say thank you once again. I don't know how many thank yous I want to give to you this evening. I want to give you a million thank yous, and everybody that's watching us are thanking you as well for telling your story. You didn't have to come out publicly and share this with the viewers and the listeners. You didn't have to disclose your medical status, especially with your colon cancer scare to now your stage 4 liver cancer. You didn't have to do that, but you're doing it in a way where, like I said earlier, you paying it forward and you make it the awareness. And please, people, get checked,
get
get
you.
checked,
That's
go
it.
to the hospital, get checked, get a colonoscopy. Of course, I can't stress that enough. Get a colonoscopy. Go see your doctor. Don't wait. Like I said earlier, if you guys are out here rushing to the polls to go vote before November 5th, since early voting has started, then you
Mhm.
have time, TIME, time to go see your medical doctor or to go to the hospital and get checked. Check for everything: colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer. Get checked.
That's right.
Get checked, everybody. All right. Thank you so much, Zachary Hardy. We really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. We expect a follow up from you very soon.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Garvey. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. That was Zachary Hardy, ladies and gentlemen, diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. Cash out $ Reach Point Communications to support him and his family during this bittersweet time. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Therapy Ain't No Joke with your host, Sean Garvey, at the Mental Space Live on all social media. Like I said, folks, we are only limited to just 3 platforms every time we go live. So all of my Facebook users and other users from different platforms, the Flow Television Network, shout out to Stephanie Starworth, as well as whatever other platforms we stream live on. We will be going back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a rebroadcast of what you just watched in real time. So don't worry, folks. If you missed it, you can check it out tonight at 10 p.m. And we're going to also be on demand as well, too. That's why I keep mentioning it to you guys to follow us on YouTube. That's YouTube at Beat Break Radio. Like, share, and subscribe, and let people know to tune in to the Mental Space. We also have a YouTube for the Mental Space show. All right, so we everywhere. No excuse. No excuse. No excuse. I don't want to hear people say, "How can I check out the show? How can I check out the show?" Everywhere. We're all over the internet. You can go to reachpointcommunications.com for more information. And there we have it right there on the screen there. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Deep Break Radio since we're broadcasting live. Theme music courtesy of Ray Melody. That's what you're hearing in the background. For all of my curious minds out there, what is that music background there? What is he playing in the background? That was courtesy of Ray Melody. Big shout out to Ray Melody for that. And this has been my time right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke with your host, Sean Garvey. I am going to be taking a break from doing any live shows until November, sometime in November, because we're going into the last few days of voting, and I'm going to be doing some restructuring for the platform. So I need a few days to do some restructuring, transitioning out from StreamYard. We're going to still do some stuff with StreamYard, but we're going to be transitioning over to Riverside. So that we can give you, the viewer, a better experience on how you watch and consume original programming like this. Therapy Ain't No Joke. All right. Let me just say this before I close out the show, and I'm so glad that I did this show tonight. Very important because I was depressed last night. I can't go into too much detail on what happened last night, but I was depressed because I didn't get a time, I didn't get a chance to take a picture with a comedic idol of mine that I met last night. And I was so depressed, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I was depressed the entire night. And then I had to realize there are people out there that are more depressed than me, and their situation is a lot more severe than my situation that I had last night. So as I close out the show, keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that whatever you're dealing with that is minor, always remember that somebody is out there dealing with something more severe than what you are dealing with right now. You may have went to your favorite fast food restaurant and they gave you the wrong order and you're just angry and upset. At least you get to live to see another day, y'all. At least you are living healthy. At least you get to go home and see your kids and your family. Just remember that there are people out there that are dealing with something more serious than what you're dealing with, right? So wanted to close out the show by saying that, and God bless you all. I will be live in about a few minutes on the Flow and wherever you get your podcast from. Oh, and this show will be on demand on iHeart and Spotify in a few days. All right, see you all again tonight at 10 p.m. on the Flow Television Network and Facebook Live at Sean Garvey. And I'll see you next time.